Hello fellow gamers, welcome to the Baldesion Arsenal Guide. This video will focus on the final and hardest boss called Ozma, which you will encounter after defeating AV and the trash packs in between, of course. There will be a video for every boss on the channel, so feel free to look them up. Alright, let's get started. Ozma's arena is quite different than the rest. You can go down and walk without pulling, but once you get too close you will face pull, and that will most likely lead to a wipe, especially if not everyone has jumped down. You also need to watch your step, as it is very easy to fall down and die. Never ever cut corners when going from platform to platform. You will fall. Also, it's very important to not target Ozma at all when you jump down, so you don't accidentally pull. Ozma's element is lightning, so you can already set your element to earth if you're simply DPSing, and lightning if you're main tanking. Ozma requires 3 main tanks since he targets 3 different players with auto attacks. That means these 3 tanks need to make sure to stay on top of the aggro list. For positioning during the fight, all 7 groups will be mainly split around 3 platforms. Every group except support will be assigned a specific black hole portal that they have to go on every now and then during the fight. This is important and will be explained later on in more detail. Now let's get into the mechanics. Ozma has 4 different forms which he will change to throughout the fight. The sphere form, which is his basic form, the spiky form, the cube form, and the triangle form. In addition, Ozma will be summoning Saids throughout the fight that copy Ozma forms. In this guide, I will explain what each form does individually, and then at the end, give you a rough timeline of the entire fight, since Ozma is not entirely scripted and has RNG elements to it. Alright, let's get started with the forms. The first and simplest form is the sphere. During Sphere, Ozma will cast Black Hole. At the end of the cast, everyone will be sucked out and the raid will end there. To prevent this, you need to activate the Black Hole portals and stand on them. There are 6 portals, 3 in each platform and 3 on each bridge that connects the platforms. The 6 main groups will be assigned to a portal and go on it when Black Hole happens. You need at least 1 player in its portal to activate the protective barrier, but usually whole groups are assigned to it for safety reasons, since it will affect the entire raid if the mechanic fails. You don't really lose a lot of uptime going to the portal, so it's better to do that than waste hours of proc time. Once that's done, Ozma will do heavy hitting auto attacks on the 3 main tanks. Healers need to really be careful during that part, and tanks should be ready to pop their mitigation. That's all for the sphere phase. It's fairly simple but deadly if not done correctly. Now, moving on to the spiky form, or star as some call it. The moment the transformation happens, Ozma will cast Morning Star, which is a huge untelegraphed AoE around him. You need to go to the back of the platform to dodge it. During this phase, Ozma will do shared auto attacks on random players in each platform. That means you have to stay stacked at all times and move together for mechanics to keep soaking the damage. Spreading out will lead to players dying. Then Ozma will do Meteor Impact. 2 random players in each platform will get targeted with meteors, which are heavy hitting proximity AoEs. The players will have a few seconds to move and place them far away. How we do it is have one of the players place it to the right bridge of the platform they are on, and then place the other one on the back left of the platform. There are a few ways to do this, so check the strats with whoever you're running it with. When the meteors go off, they will each spawn an ad. Off tanks need to grab them, and everyone has to DPS them down immediately, since they have a nasty end raid that can wipe the raid. The final mechanic for this form is Shooting Star. Shooting Star is a knockback coming from the black hole portals. You have the option of getting knocked to either back or front of the platform. The only reason you want to get knocked to the back is to dodge an Ozma Shade attack. Shooting Star and Meteor will happen at the same time, but Meteor will resolve before Shooting Star, so you have enough time to deal with everything. No need to panic. That's all for the spiky form. Next up, we have the cube form. The moment the transformation happens, Ozma will do a donut AoE cleaving the entire arena. To dodge this, you will have to go really close in front of the platform. Ozma during this form will shoot lasers instead of regular auto attacks on the 3 main tanks. These lasers are AoE and they deal quite a bit of damage. What you want to do here is have the tank on one side of the platform and the party on the opposite side, so the tanks can get hit alone. Right after, 2 orbs will spawn in each of the bridges. These orbs will start moving clockwise and eventually explode, killing everyone around them. The off-tanks in each platform will have to press all their cooldowns and soak both orbs coming to them. Ozma will then cast Holy, which is a small knockback with very little damage as well. This knockback is really easy to deal with. All you have to do is not be near the back edge of the platform or bridge, since it's so small you can even dodge it anywhere you are. However, it can be sneaky and catch you off guard. Lastly, Ozma will do a stack marker on its platform, and yeah, all you have to do is stack. Although, it does apply a magic vulnerability debuff. That's all for the cube form. Now let's move on to the final form, which is the triangle. The moment the transformation happens, Ozma will do Exa Creation, which is a line AoE in all 3 platforms. You need to get off the platform completely to dodge it. The auto attacks in this phase will be in the form of small circle AoEs that apply a bleed debuff, which can be cleansed. Thankfully, there is a way to avoid healing through that. The circle AoEs with the bleed can be baited so that only one player gets them. The player that is the furthest away in the back of the platform gets the AoEs. For that reason, we usually assign a bard or a healer to position themselves as far away as possible and cleanse the bleed on them. During this phase, players will get inflicted with acceleration bomb debuffs. This debuff will have a timer. You have to not perform any actions once the timer reaches 0. Otherwise, the acceleration bomb will explode, potentially killing everyone on the platform you're on. The acceleration bomb debuff looks something like this. You need to be very careful and you need to pay attention if you get it. Once the timer is close to 0, sheath your weapon and do not do anything until it goes away. At the same time, there will be a meteor impact cast. It's exactly the same as the one during spiky form. Place them correctly and burst down the adds. The only trick here is that you have to look out for both meteor and acceleration bomb if you get them. Depending on your timer, you will have to decide what to prioritize first. If you know something will surely go wrong, don't be afraid to ask for a tank LB to save the raid. After all of this, there will be a stack marker in its platform that will apply a magic vulnerability debuff again. Simply stack all together. This will mark the end of the triangle form, which concludes all the Ozma formations. Ozma will swap multiple times between all of them. Now, since everything regarding the forms and the mechanics has been explained, let's take a look at the timeline of the fight. Ozma will always start with Sphere, then transform into Spiky. This is fixed and will always happen. However, these first 2 forms are slightly modified versions and are quite simpler. You can think of it as an introduction to the fight. This Sphere form will only have heavy hitting auto attacks, nothing else, no black hole yet. Next, the Spiky form will have Morning Star, the shared auto attacks, and the knockback. That's it, and there is no meteors. After that, Ozma will follow a set pattern. The form changes will be random, and between each random form change, there will be a sphere form with a black hole. The whole timeline looks something like this. The same form cannot happen twice in a row. For example, Spiky into Sphere, then Spiky again. The only exception is when it happens after the first fixed Spiky. That's the only point in the fight where it can be the same 2 times in a row. During the forms, there will be Ozma Shades spawning. There will be at least 1 Ozma Shade during each form, and they will always appear in the back of the platform. The Shades will copy the main abilities of the Spiky, the Cube, and the Triangle form. For example, Spiky's Morning Star. You need to keep an eye out on the back of the platform at all times, so you don't miss the Ozma Shade transformations. There's going to be a point in the fight where you'll have to dodge a form attack and an Ozma Shade attack back to back, so be careful. As you can see, at 10 minutes and 20 seconds into the fight, Ozma will change into Spiky and slow cast Shooting Star, which is the Enrage. With today's DPS, Enrage should be no issue at all. That's all for Ozma. Thank you for watching. I hope this guide really helped you out and understand the fight. This took quite a bit to make, so any support on the video or channel would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching and good luck on your clear.